Good morning, everyone. I'm Ravi Gupta. I am CEO and founder of Elite Technomedia Private Limited. I'm also the editor-in-chief of magazines called eGov, which is a e-governance magazine. This is India's first and the only magazine for last 16 years on e-governance. We have been bringing out success stories, the challenges of implementing e-governance in the vast country like India, and also covering a lot of international case studies. And today we are having with us Dr. Neeta Verma. She is Director General of NIC, which is the National Informatics Center, Government of India. And let me tell you that NIC is the premier and the most critical IT organization for managing IT in the government systems, not only in the center but states and all over all the districts of the country. And they have also reached out to the villages and at the panchayat level. So to discuss how we are going to like how has NIC dealt with the COVID-19 situation, and how has NIC emerged as a very important disaster management organization arm of the government. We are with Dr. Neeta Verma. Welcome, Neeta ji, for joining this program with us. Thanks for joining. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
So, to start with, I am requesting Dr. Neeta Verma to please talk about the history of NIC, like how it is, how it started, why it started, and what is the NIC network, how big is it, and what has been the major milestones of NIC. Please.
Thank you, Ravi, and good afternoon to all of you. NIC is a 4 decades old organization. It is set up as an ICT arm of the government, and it is also a very uniquely positioned institution with presence in central government, state government, district administration, as well as panchayats. As a part of our activities, we work as a technology partner to the government, being a part of the government. 3 major things we do. One is that we set up an ICT infrastructure pan-India, which becomes foundation of any digital initiative of the government. We have also built a number of digital solutions, digital platforms over time to cater to various government-to-government activities, as well as government-to-citizen and government-to-business operations, services, engagement with the citizens, and so on and so forth. We also work in an advisory capacity to central government and state government on various use of new set of technologies and how can they be effectively used in governance. Some of our solutions over the time have evolved into digital platforms. There is a whole big ecosystem around it and is being used at a national level. Like we have this system called Vahan and Sarthi, which is a national register of vehicle registration and driving license, same platform being used across all the states, which has now been extended for these e-challans, which you see when the cop is having that POS machines and issuing a challan, accessing your vehicle details, driving license details. To going forward, it has been further connected now to virtual courts, so that you don't have to visit to court to make payments of some of those challans which cannot be made on the spot, which has really made not only life easier for the citizen, but also for the judiciary, where they really courts used to function, and for these small things, where now one virtual court, where one judge sitting in the comfort of his or her home can handle thousands of cases every day. So it's again becoming very, very popular across different courts in the country. Similarly, we have this immigration visa system, which has helped immensely in issuing these electronic visas. And it has also been a very, very useful system during this immigration, when we had to stop people from coming from various countries and and it has really worked with the immigration department to make sure that it supports the various policies of the government, which was changing almost by every day, kind of a thing. Similarly, we have lot of systems which support the social sectors, in a way transfer of funds to the beneficiaries, or all major schemes of the government, whether it is employment guarantee scheme, or whether it is housing scheme, or Swachh Bharat Mission scheme, or fertilizer distribution. So you have number of platforms like this which are supporting various functions of the government, various national programs of the government. Our infrastructure services are also very popular and have in fact seen exponential rise in their usage. I'm going to talk to that in detail about my presentation. We also have one of unique and strength of NIC is that our presence in every district. We work very closely with every district administration. And that is where we become the core setup to support district administration in implementation of national level programs, state level programs, or district level initiatives. These offices give support to district administration in implementation of these schemes, right from day-to-day administration to law and order situation to these kind of pandemic crisis, or even elections when they're taking place, or to even information commission for answering to various RTI requested. So there's a very wide spectrum of things which we do for government in various sectors. List is very long, and I think
very long, and hats off to NIC for this vast network and vast number of areas in which NIC works. Like almost all arms of the government are backed by NIC today. So may I request you to give us a detailed account of how NIC handled this mega crisis. This COVID-19 is one of those crises which happens in 100 years. So this has been huge, and like every day new challenges have come, and every day new ways of dealing with it have been thought, and IT has been used. So I will request you to give us a detailed account of it, please.
Thank you, Ravi. Surely. Can you see my screen?
Yes. Thank you.
So this COVID-19 crisis has, in a way, and the lockdown has demonstrated the power of digital India. It has demonstrated the power of digital technologies, that how government could continue its functioning using various digital technologies and solutions. It could also deliver a lot of services which was the need of this COVID-19 management, the crisis of this management of this COVID-19 crisis, whether it is facilitating the movement, issuing of advisories, or identification of zones, or distribution of food or ration, and so on and so forth. This has also demonstrated the adaptation of government officials, the use of digital technologies, in the sense that how can they, using this digital communication and digital technologies, they could not only work from home, process their files from home, do meetings by participating, sitting at their home, and lot of government activities and functions have continued to function using these digital technologies. Let me now try and give you some sense of infrastructure. As I had told you that over the last 4 decades, NIC has set up a robust ICT infrastructure pan-India, which spans from multi-gigabit network across India, data centers, cloud, messaging services, networks within government offices. This all infrastructure has seen exponential rise in its usage during this lockdown period, and by continuous 24/7 availability of this infrastructure, NIC has demonstrated the robustness of this infrastructure as well as resilience of NIC team, who has worked 24/7 managing this infrastructure within the constraints of lockdown, where we could have very few people on the site. Rest everyone was managing from their homes. So This was a classic example, and as you said that in any, and has given us a confidence that how can we really handle into any disaster situation, God forbid if it arises. So that's been a very, very encouraging experience. And also, you know, and these kind of crises also gives you an opportunity to test your own infrastructure as well as your own resilience. So I'm really glad that we've been able to do it very, very satisfactorily. Video conferencing services are being talked all about, and they have been actually a mainstay of government's communication across all its wings, be it President of India, Prime Minister of India, all legislative members, executive meetings, as well as judicial. Even Supreme Court has used video conferencing services to hear a number of court matters during this lockdown period. This video conferencing services has also helped government not only connect with government functionaries across India, but also to the various professionals like IT industries, health professionals, pharma professionals, media professionals, while they were all sitting in the comfort of their homes. So all those meetings, interactions have happened. A number of international meetings like NAM, G20, and various other meetings have also happened using these video conferencing services. So be it government interactions, be it policy making, be it monitoring of this pandemic, or be it supporting the war rooms of the various state governments, video conferencing services have really come in a big way, rising to the occasion and helping government communicate in a seamless fashion. Our e-office platform, which is basically a digital workplace solution, is being used by central and state governments for quite some time. During this lockdown period, we have enabled a number of government employees to work on this e-office from the comfort of their homes in a seamless and highly secured manner. During the lockdown, 1 month of lockdown itself, over 10 lakh transactions have taken place of different files in the Government of India alone. And when I say transactions, I mean creation of new files, processing of these files, forwarding of these files, to even approval of these files. And not only file movement, even your tour not so relevant, tour leave, your appraisal and knowledge management on can be supported from this solution. This is a statistics of the state. Over and above 28 state governments are also using this e-office platform, and wherein they have been able to move their files from district administration to state administration to even till chief minister. No paper, quick movement of files have really helped government continue its functioning in this hour of crisis. You know, we also had a financial year closing during this lockdown period, and this PFMS system, which we have developed for Controller General of Accounts, have really shown a lot of robustness, and we could successfully, and all departments could successfully close their financial accounts using this system from the comfort of their homes again and in the secure manner. This system also is a core at all that we hear of the DBT, direct benefit transfer to the beneficiaries. During this lockdown also, to maintain the livelihood of the poor people, lot of schemes have been announced by central governments as well as state governments. We have quickly configured all those schemes into these systems, and IC teams in center as well as in state governments have done, and thousands of crores of money has been transacted to thousands of crores of beneficiaries using this direct benefit transfer platform, through which the money was directly transferred to the bank account of this to the beneficiaries. Because so in a way it has also supported transfer of funds to the people at the right time, and also transferring digitally has also encouraged the use of digital payments technology into this whole system. And the use of this is continuing to be there whenever government is launching any new program or any new scheme to help people maintain their livelihood during this hour of crisis. This is another thing which was a kind of opportunity used by our CAD computer aided design team. They had a product which is a made in India product, indigenous product, 3D CAD product. During this time, we have partnered with Atal Innovation Mission under NITI Aayog to provide this made in India 3D CAD product free of cost to all the schools in India. 4,800 plus schools who have Atal Tinkering Labs, through which we have partnered and provided. Our sense was then when the students are sitting at home, they can get exposed to this high-end CAD software, which will also give them opportunity for the students to explore design innovation in 3D models, and which is a base of a lot of professions as they move forward. And encouraged by the response, Atal Innovation Mission has launched an Atal Community Challenge, which is going on, where their students are encouraged to use this 3D CAD software, Collab CAD, and submit their 3D models. Arogya Setu, all of you know, it is one of the perhaps the most popular app in India today, with over 9 crore downloads. It is essentially launched to help people identify their risk of being infected by the coronavirus. Essentially, it alerts if you have Arogya Setu app, and it alerts you if you have by mistake come in contact with some infected person. And it also gives you other advisories in different languages to the people, that what kind of things like social distancing, hand hygiene, quarantine, all those things also time to time it informs people. It also has features where it kind of shows what is the COVID-19 infection prevalence in your nearby community, or in any place where you're going, so that you could get the situation and keep yourself safe. Also understanding the fact that not everyone in India has a smartphone. There are a large number of people who have feature phones, and some may have landlines. So recently we have launched Arogya Setu IVRS, which is the companion to this app, which is for feature phones and landlines. Lot of NIC team were also under a lot of tremendous pressure to deliver these mobile apps specifically for this COVID-19 situation, and deliver it in 2 days, 3 days, max a week kind of a scenario. And it is not a mobile app. There is a big IT system also which gets developed behind it. Like this app we have developed for COVID-19 test, RT-PCR. This is being given to every lab technician, so that he can capture the details of the patient while collecting the sample in a very, very quick and correct manner, and also immediately transfer it to the lab. So all that effort of data entry and the lab, and then human errors while capturing information, will be completely eliminated. And we all are Ministry of Health and all are working towards 100% use of compliance to use of this app, so that not only in these samples can quickly reach, we can increase. This is also going to help in increasing our testing capacity and its management as we go. Similar app was done for rapid antibody, which is right now under consideration. This was also a time for harvesting, and to help farmers. As we said, livelihood is been one of the major concerns of the government. Help farmers sell their produce. This Kisan Rath app was launched, and this is primarily to facilitate transportation of agri products, and brings farmers, traders, and transporters on a common platform, so that it's kind of an e-commerce thing for these agri produce, and is being very much in use by all these three communities. Some specific applications were also developed for COVID-19, like PM Cares Fund. It's a classic application where you could make a donation to this PM Cares Fund for to help COVID-19 crisis in every mode, right from those UPI to your credit cards to NEFT, RTGS, wallets, and then going forward to international wire transfers, international credit cards. In any mode, you could make your payment to this. This was specifically done for this purpose. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare website has been also significantly redesigned to disseminate this information about COVID-19 advisories, awareness, as well as all statistics at one place in a very effective manner. COVID Warriors portal has been set up by Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises to basically collect information or make a registry of all the volunteers who have offered their services during this crisis, and then make use of their services in different geographies and different times from time to time. Lifeline Udan, while all the flights were kind of cancelled during this period, but still essential commodities had to be brought from one place to other place. Therefore, a special application was developed through which this cargo aircraft offer any kind of essential movement permission is being granted by using this Lifeline Udan, and this has been really very helpful in transfer of essential equipments, medical equipments, or essential commodities from one place to other place during this time of lockdown. Like this, many other states, in fact, government has formed some 9 empowered groups of secretaries, and NIC teams are supporting each of this group with whatever kind of technology solution or reports they are asking from time to time. So everybody is kind of working practically on much more than perhaps what we work in our regular timings, because every report has to be given on almost real-time basis. State centers of NIC, as I said, and districts have also been very actively involved with their respective state governments. They have essentially they are helping those state governments manage the situation in their respective state, managing the quarantine facilities, doing the surveillance of COVID positive patients so that they don't move here and there and further enhance or to contain the spread of the virus. There are also systems done to help hospitals do their management and report the status of the patients. Like Delhi government also made a system, DBT system, to pass financial assistance to the drivers, and also, as you can see, and Jharkhand developed an application to help people who are stuck here and there for any kind of advice or any kind of other questions they had, or any of the financial help. So this is a helpline kind of a thing put through a mobile app. Similarly, applications have been done, as you can see, across many states, and these all applications have been built on almost mission mode, 2 days, 3 days kind of a thing, and these applications are not one time, as the government's need of, because it's a new kind of a crisis which no one has seen in their lifetime. So when you see every day new ideas come, new challenges come, and similarly we are continually adapting these systems to those new requirements and new challenges as they are coming. This is one system which is the e-pass system, where more than 21 states, I think now number has further increased, states, we are helping them issuing electronic passes for movement of not only the vehicles but of the individuals for essential services, for medical reasons, or for any kind of, or maybe if they are health workers or frontline workers. So for their movement, this system has been developed. It is a highly sophisticated system, and more than 21 state governments are already using it. Recently, we have also integrated this system with Arogya Setu, so that the approving authority, when issuing a pass, can also see the health condition as far as coronavirus is concerned of the individual who is applying for a pass, and then take an informed decision of issuing a pass or rejecting a pass. As you've seen in the country, we have seen a tremendous rise in tele-education, and what really has personally impressed me, not only higher education, even in primary schools, use of these video conferencing platforms, to where teachers are taking classes over various video platforms of these class 1, class 2, class 3 students, and they also are able to receive it. It really shows us that how is the impact of Digital India across the country. not only private schools, even government schools are also able to rise up to this occasion and conduct these classes, so which is very, very encouraging. We have National Knowledge Network, which is a high speed network pan India, which connects all eminent institutes of higher education, whether it is central universities, state universities. Over 700 plus institutes are already connected. They were initially primarily used for education as well as collaborative research. But during this period of lockdown, they have heavily used this network to conduct these classes, conduct examinations. And now we are also using this network to do this counseling for admissions, because this was also a time of counseling and admissions to various institutes. So this network is been at the core of all these, because it really provides a very, very high speed gigabit, multi-gigabit connectivity for these institutes to connect to their students from their homes and and conduct their business of conducting classes or even taking exams. Some of the institutes have even taken online exams. We have also been working during these times on some of the emerging technologies, and seeing that going forward, how can we make more and more use of these emerging technologies. We already had launched some center of excellence in the recent past, and these centers have also worked to basically not only build solutions which is COVID specific, also see that how can we build solutions which will be handy when we have this work from home becoming a new norm kind of a thing. So we have the Center of Excellence for Data Analytics, Center of Excellence for Artificial Intelligence, and Center of Excellence for Blockchain Technologies. These were open in last 18 months or so, and as you could see, besides doing their routine applications, they have been also working specific solutions supporting some state governments, sometimes central governments, to do various AI chatbots or analytics, dashboards, and some of the regular stuff in blockchain and all. All this is being explored to see now when India is becoming more and more digital, people are adapting digital technologies so beautifully across the length and breadth of India. How can we now use these technologies to deliver next generation of citizen-centric solutions and services go forward? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nida Verma. A very comprehensive presentation you have given. Some questions like how is NIC helping, like every day a new situation is emerging and your team has to work on it. So are you also taking the help of the IT industry overall to help you in this crisis situation?
Yes, of course. In fact, we have a whole family of extended extended family, where all these private companies and the professionals from there are deployed on various products. Even if it's managing our infrastructure, we have a whole sort of industries companies which help us in managing. Also, in our applications and all, we really have a large set of these people who are kind of on contract from these companies and really help to perform this task from time to time. We have also taken the help. We had to do some urgent procurements because when we said work from home, so we had to provide laptops, we have to provide all kind of devices, and they're also with their immensely helped in delivering things in almost 24 hours across India to various offices, which really helped us deliver our services of the level which was kind of required.
Sure. One of the major challenges which has occurred when the COVID situation started was that tracking the people who are coming from outside India and who might be having a COVID-19 situation. So how did NIC help in that aspect?
See, we have this system called IVFRT, Immigration Visa Registration and Tracking System. What it does is this system is deployed on all checkposts in India, whether sea post or airports. And all electronic visa and immigration is handled online using this system. So what we are basically doing, as government's advisory was coming, first of all, issuing a visa of denial of visa country by country. If you remember, we had closed these things, first 6 countries, then few, as we saw different countries were getting coronavirus infection more, and accordingly these policies were changed from time to time. So one is, so we had a team which was working really hard to change to these policies and change systems to cater to these policy guidelines. Second thing almost was done, because the first set of people, as we were saying, that it was everybody who was coming in that last 3 weeks or maybe a 1 month period, and extra all their information was being collected. Also was found that in which state or which place they are going, and this information electronically was being shared by the state governments and district administration, so that they can take care of their quarantine, they can monitor quarantine, they had to be kept in surveillance for 2 to 3 weeks. They use their contact numbers and all those things to be in touch with them. Also, in case they develop infection and needed some kind of a medical intervention on health, even this information help government even extending that kind of a service to them. Now again, when we will open, I am sure we are not going to open this international travel in one go. So I think that exercise of gradually opening one by one will again start. So our team is pretty geared up to really cater to all those kinds of services.
Amazing. This is a great service which has been provided by NIC. And please also talk about that there is an emerging situation of the migrant laborers, and how is NIC helping in this situation?
Yeah, migrant laborers is a very migrant labor was always there, but now the systematic movement of migrant labor from one state to is already there. All state governments are working on this, and our state centers are supporting each of this to their respective state governments in working out an IT systems through which they can not only plan their systematic movement, because we don't want too much of a crowding, and once they reach the state, their deployments to respective quarantine facilities, and they are monitoring there. Also, if there are some states are also offering financial assistance, so transferring of those financial assistance. So these local systems are almost getting built on a real time basis, on a daily basis, to cater to the, because it's like, it's easy to say that you build one system and it will to cater to the whole of this thing, because the requirements are changing and every state government is applying its own, depending on their situation, applying new kinds of guidelines or mechanisms for these movements. So all our NIC center are helping all these state governments develop these systems and for smooth, and provide whatever support we could through technology for smooth migration of or transfer of these migrant laborers from one place to other place, and also monitoring their their safety in quarantine homes or COVID hospitals, or in any case they need any kind of medical help or intervention. Even for that matter, this is good, because what we have done, other than this, we've helped Ministry of Health to develop a super surveillance system, which has been further strengthened, and now this surveillance system connects central government, state governments, and district administration in terms of management of COVID-19 patients. COVID-19 positive patients is concerned, their contact tracing, their present status, whether they are in hospital. So this system has connected almost all arms of the government who is trying to contribute who's playing some role in managing this pandemic. Right from district surveillance officers to medical authorities to district administration to state government, and then to central government and ICMR labs. Everybody is kind of connected to this. So by providing access to these systems, also we are able to transfer a lot of information to these states, which they can effectively use to manage their local situation.
Work from home is not very popular in the government system, but right now in the COVID-19 situation, we are seeing across India that government is working from home in most of the places. How has NIC enabled and helped in this ecosystem? Yeah.
See, work from home is a beautiful experience for us. I mean, as I was saying, I'm really impressed the way government employees have adapted themselves to this work from home situation, use of digital technologies. You're very right. We had these digital systems, but we did not have any concept of really working from home, except seeing our mails and all those things. This has really brought, I should say, a paradigm shift in the way government employees do their work in terms of their files and all. This is but we had a lot of, in the initial days of lockdown, we had a tremendous lot, because we had to really configure everybody's account to be working from their home, creating those secure VPN accounts from them, and then bringing them on board. Then every application which was made accessible to be working from home, that team had to guide those people, because now they didn't have any technology FMS person standing left or right. They had to actually do it themselves. The best we could do is, remotely on this, using these video conferencing kind of facilities, help them. But I will really, while I really admire the adaptation by government officers, I also very much commend my all NIC officers who have really worked to support these government officials do their work. Both were sitting remotely, but I think they've managed it beautifully. That is how, as I showed you, over 10 lakh transactions have taken place within the central government itself. We will have similar numbers in state governments also. So that was one part. Second is, though we have been doing Skype and FaceTime in our personal lives, it was very rarely that we were doing video meetings remotely. Often people were coming to our NIC studios. We have about 2,000 studios. People were coming to our studios, and then NIC team used to set up everything, and they used to just have meeting. But during this lockdown period, everybody has preferred to be working from their home. So this, and as I've told you, over 2 lakh employees have been connected from time to time. This has also made them more comfortable. It is not that they couldn't have done, but just because service was available, they were doing, has really made them confident to kind of use these technologies and very effectively. Initially, when we used to have meetings, I mean, everybody used to keep their mic on, and then you have to say mute the mic, because a lot of noise used to happen. But things in 1 month, they have so beautifully progressed, and now meetings are so productive, so effective. In fact, now any meeting call we are getting is there's always said that you can join over VC. So VC is the first choice to join over it. It has definitely put a tremendous load on my VC team. I hats off to them, because they've been regularly working practically day and night. But what we are happy is that this way, one, that government's work has not suffered. During this period, not only regular work, lot of consultations have happened. The secretaries of the ministries consulting with their counterparts in states, sometimes cabinet secretary doing meetings with chief secretaries, empowered groups were made, ministers empowered groups are there. So everybody is doing a lot of consultation, and all that consultation used to happen over VC, and tremendous use had happened. And I think people must have also adapted it, and in the times to come, I see this becoming a new norm, that we are doing meetings from our own offices instead of going for the meetings to a particular place. It is I think in the long run, we could also see as a blessing, lot of time which used to spend within state, or sometimes traveling to different location, will get saved, and much more productivity can be achieved using this thing.
Are you thinking, like, are you seeing that the adoption of e-governance, like what you have just mentioned, is more G2G, like government to government services getting digital? Your government meetings are digital on video conference, your government to government collaboration is getting digital. But another aspect is like government to citizen services. Are you having a feeling that after the COVID-19 situation, a more emphasis on e-governance at all levels, from center to state to district to taluka or a panchayat level, that will also happen?
Yes, of course. That's what I told, that this COVID-19 I mean, you always have opportunity, and any adversity has really demonstrated the power of digital technologies and digital India. If you see a child of class 1, class 2 studying in a government school can take its classes. I mean, I was really amazed one day when my mate came and told me that her daughter, who's only in class 3 or 4, is taking her classes on a video platform, WhatsApp and Zoom. I mean, I couldn't believe you will not believe, I called her and I saw how was she actually taking a class. So
Okay.
always had this feeling that people in rural India, people below certain strata, are not very tech savvy. They will not be able to use these technologies. So, but this situation has not only demystify our belief that they cannot adapt to technology, it has also overcome their hesitation or inertia to use this technology. So both way people have come forward. Another beautiful you think nowadays people are not wanting to go to ATMs, because of catching
Yeah.
infection through this thing. So digital payments have got another big boost. So now if you have digital payments, you have digital technologies. And one thing also we should really appreciate our telecom services in the country. I mean, despite having so much of, as we are seeing our network alone had, so we can see their networks must have really seen a tremendous pressure, and they have really stood to this thing. And the fact we are able to do these meetings like this is a testimony of robustness of our telecom. So once you have infrastructure in your place, you have people who can now be tech savvy. So what is stopping us? I think this is the best time we can have more and more services digital and make really truly inclusive in the time to come.
Sure. You have mentioned about Arogya Setu in your presentation. There is a lot of debate around privacy. So if you can mention about that, how are you addressing the privacy issues?
So Arogya Setu, first off, let me tell you how it works. So Arogya
Yes.
Setu is a mobile app which you can download from Android or iOS. Once you download, you basically do your registration. At the time of registration, your location is captured once, and your basic information, which is very, very basic information, is being converted into a digital ID. Now you use it, and as you start using this information, it on a certain interval captures your Bluetooth information and your geographical lat long. It basically captures this information, is encrypted and kept on your phone itself in a highly encrypted fashion, so that even if your phone is compromised, this information is not easy to be accessed. Only when you turn out to be corona positive, that time your last 14 days information is taken from your phone and is being transmitted to a government server. That too, only this information of Bluetooth contacts travels through your digital ID, your phone number, your name, your contact, nothing travels along with that. While being transmitted also, it is in an encrypted mode, so it is safe while in transit. On the server, this information is analyzed and find out who are the people who have come in close contact with this corona positive patient. That means if the algorithm is 1.5 meters and over 15 minutes, if you have been in touch with this, then there's a possibility that you might have also acquired the infection. And then it basically alerts those people that you have been in touch with the corona positive patient, and therefore you should either self quarantine, and if you develop any symptom, you should go and get it tested, which is as per the prescription of ICMR. See, why is this critical? Because in this COVID-19, you do not get any symptoms sometimes even till 8th day, 9th day or 10th day. So even if the person who is carrying a COVID-19 infection may herself not know that he is infected, and he may meet his friends, family, and everyone. But and so whosoever have you met while you had no symptom, those people might have infected because nobody knew, but everything was very normal. Now, if we don't alert this person will also not have symptom for quite a few days, and unknowingly they will infect their family members, they'll infect their colleagues, they'll infect their friends. So it is basically to help people to save themselves as well as save their family, friends, and community. Therefore, this is very important to inform. This is the essential thing it is doing. And the best thing in privacy, I like to tell that first of all, it is an absolutely transparent manner. That means whatever I am telling you, the same is being mentioned in the privacy policy and same is being actually done. Secondly, after 14 days when your data goes, and supposing you have not turned out to be positive and you had no infection, whatever data was captured, after 30 days, that data is purged from your phone. Okay. So, and as the server is concerned, after 45 or 60 days, depending on how many people have you infected, that data will be purged from that place. So that is a commitment which has been given. And information which is there on the server cannot really tell about an individual's name, phone number, so you just can't really make out. When we come to Aarogya Setu, the new feature has come to help you that how many people are COVID-19 positive in the 500-meter this thing, or 1 square kilometer area of the place where you're in, is basically to help you that you should not by mistake get into any zone where number of COVID positive patients is concerned. But I keep getting a lot of calls. You can only know these many people are infected. You cannot know who is the person, left side their house is there or right side. The privacy has been kept completely at the design itself. It is only that much work we are doing, which will help in containing the spread of the virus, and also help you keep safe from having this infection.
Great. There are some questions from the audience, so if you allow, I can ask them.
Yes.
So there's a question about someone is asking who is from a university that what is the concept of NKN, the National Knowledge Network, and if I am a university teacher, how I can use it. So this is the question.
Yeah. So National Knowledge Network is a 5 years old program. It was basically designed to provide a high-speed connectivity for all the higher education institutes in the country, which includes IITs, IIMs, medical institutes, as well as all the central universities and now many state universities. Around 17 to 1800 universities are already connected on it. So what it does is that otherwise because see, the students in the university need to really learn a lot of information which is on the internet space. And if you do not have a good internet bandwidth, many a time students are not able to make effective use of this. So this internet bandwidth to these universities were all provided free, and also it was kept secure. So all those malicious attacks and all that has been, these connections are protected from all those things. So that was the one thing which did. Second, it also encouraged a lot of collaboration between the Indian institutes as well as the Indian and their foreign counterparts. So it is already connected to research and education networks of Europe, of Singapore, of Sri Lanka, of US, of UK. It's connected to all these things. It's also connected to CERN laboratory. So scientists sitting here are able to schedule their experiments in CERN laboratory from their Indian location itself. So it's really given a lot of boost to the international collaboration on research as far as academics. When the some new IITs came for about a year, when they had no campus and they did not have all this infrastructure, one older IIT I remember IIT Madras used to mentor IIT Hyderabad. So all lectures used to take place using this network from by the professors sitting in IIT Madras and students sitting in IIT Hyderabad. How can you use? You basically have to contact your computer science department and also find out that how can you really make use of this NKN connection.
Sure. There is a question by someone asking that many government departments prefer to directly use private sector services, IT company services, rather than working with NIC. So your views on this aspect?
No, there is no harm. See, it depends what is the capability of that department. if you have some IT people who can take work from, because the company contract will be for a limited period. Okay. Once the company goes, you have someone to handhold that application and sustain. Application once done will have to continue. So it depends what is the kind of internal setup you have. And in case you want to use the IT services, India is known for its very mature IT industry. There's nothing wrong in this. And there are mechanisms like we have central procurement portal, or we have government e-marketplace, where you can easily avail services of these companies, and you should.
There is a question that just a second, read this. Yes, there are several of them, so I am looking at. Someone has asked that does NIC follow any bold model, which means big, open, and linked data model framework in their solutions?
I cannot comment on this particular thing, but I can tell you two things. In NIC, we very strongly comply with the open source policy. So most of our solutions are all built using open source softwares, and number of open source stacks are being used. As well as data analytics is concerned, we have number of models. I think what is referring to is perhaps to a big data and data analytics model. So number of these models are in place depending on what is the nature of the data, and what is the veracity of the data which is coming in, and what kind of analytics is it real-time analytics, or is it something which has to be given at a post-facto thing. Accordingly, a model with different applications are using different data analytics models and different data mining platforms to deliver to the required services.
There is a question by someone that does NIC network help in primary school IT infrastructure also?
No, we do not help in primary school infrastructure, but only thing is lot of applications like midday meal schemes, teachers attendance, the server part of those applications, teachers transfer, the other some Suraksha, Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan. So these kind of programs, or in fact we run a very huge national scholarship portal for where all these children apply from class 1 to class 12. Even higher education scholarships, they apply on a single portal through a single form. So those kind of server side things which government develops for these primary schools, that we help. As far as schools network is concerned, that's either if it's government schools done by state governments, or by private schools, they do their networks by themselves.
Sure. There is another question on Arogya Setu, that how can you identify a patient as COVID positive in my 2-kilometer range? One patient was showing as COVID positive in Arogya Setu, but there is no positive patient reported. So my question is whether a patient is COVID-19 should be entered by the patient, or any validation should also be done.
Yeah, so COVID-19 positive patient report data we receive from ICMR, because ICMR labs are the designated bodies to declare any patient as a COVID positive patient. So when we get details of that person, then only we mark him COVID positive, not before that. Number one. Number two, when you're taking off a location, see, there is a possibility that this person, when he had registered with this app, that day we had captured his lat long, and he was kind of tagged to that particular location. That time he was in your locality. Later on, he moved to some other locality, or now he may be in the hospital. But since his original location was at that place, that is the reason we show. The reason for, because if somebody is COVID-19 positive, after that he has to be in the hospital or quarantine mode. He will not be at home in all cases. But then if he has been there for a certain amount of time, the possibility of the people in that household or people in that community of getting COVID positive becomes high. So it kind of gives you an indication that what is the spread of COVID-19 in this particular locality.
There is a question around how is NIC reinventing itself. Like are a lot of changes happening in technology all the time, and there are new demands of the government and citizens happening. So how is NIC changing? What is the vision?
Yeah, so see, as I said, for the last 3 to 5 years, our focus has been continuously on 2, 3 different dimensions. First of all, we have started consolidating. We had developed, thousands of softwares over time, and we realized many of these softwares working in different states were kind of doing an overlapping work, and we always have human resource constraint also being into this. So therefore, we have consolidated and converted our offerings into some 20-25 national level platforms. And over the time, I'm very happy to say in the last 2 years, these platforms have matured, and each of these platform is covering 70 to 80% of India. I mean, each platform is being used by 30 states, 25 states. That's the kind of distance. So adaptation is very high, and this covers, as I was telling you, transport sector to rural sector to fertilizer to agriculture, all to finance. As I told, we have a common system. So this is what we are doing. So this helps us optimize our efforts. And then, since we have only these 20 products, we put state-of-the-art technology on it time to time. Second thing is we have built a number of competency centers like mobile competency centers, application security centers, where people are focused on not only learning the new developments in this, also exploring how can these be used into this. And whenever any team of NIC has to deliver that service, like if I had to do a mobile, let me give an example. I had to do this RT-PCR app, and this has to be delivered in 3 days, and everybody here was busy. So I contacted my Himachal team, and I said, since you do not have too much of a spread of COVID-19 also, so you please design this application for me. So sitting there, the team, a senior officer from here guided them, and within a span of 1 week they can come up with such a beautiful app, which is really proving to be very, very useful. So we do a lot of cross country collaboration and make people uh, become the focus center of specialized center of this thing. Second thing, we have really worked very hard in upgrading the skills of our people, because as technology is moving and whole of industry is saying that with the new letter of technologies, old skills may not be relevant. So we have number of initiatives in this. For last 3 years, we have been running webinar every day from 1:30 to 2. And my people were saying, this is your first webinar, and I should be thankful to you. I could not do any webinar, and everybody else in NIC had done. So I must really thank you for that. And so where NIC officers across India are supposed to talk about on some new technology, and everybody in NIC from all over from their seat connect. It's been a very popular thing. In fact, in some time we had to run 2 streams because so much of a demand of these things is concerned. Then we have also made a skill upgrade platform. It's a CBT platform. We call it Vidya Kosh, where we have mapped that people in this level working in this domain have to undergo these many credit points of online courses. So with this continuously they're doing. Third thing we do is we run hackathons within the NIC itself, where we pose a problem, they make teams, it encourages them to make teams. Why I find it very happy, even some young bright officers sitting in districts are also doing wonderfully well in these hackathons, and that way it also becomes a talent hunt exercise for us, that we find where the right talent and good people are sitting, because it's a large setup. And then we have, so like this we have number of other programs, like recently we're focusing on software quality. So time to time we are doing so, upgrading our people, motivating them to upgrade individually on different skills, building competency centers, and finally setting this center of excellence on the new set of technologies, whether it is artificial, like recently during COVID-19, my artificial intelligence center of excellence have built a model to which if you can pass on some now they're asking us to get some 3,000 x-rays, using which that model will henceforth will be able, looking at your chest x-ray, will be able to predict your probability of having coronavirus infection. because as you know, coronavirus essentially affects our lungs. So lungs X-ray. So we are in the process of trying to get those X-rays of COVID-19 patients. So these kind of lot of new things are being done. So I'm pretty confident that that catering to, not only we are catering to the new requirements of government, but we are now in a position to guide government that what is the new technology they should use for which domain.
And another question is actually related here, that many students, many states are using different technology, different platforms, but and many a times there is a replication of the efforts happening in states and departments. So is NIC trying to help and uh, guide the states on which technologies to use and which platforms to use, if you can? Yeah.
Yes, as I told you, that has been one of the focus. While we are a big country and these kinds of duplications to some extent will happen, and duplication is not duplication, sometimes it also gives rise to some kind of a innovation. You see new way of implementation. So I feel some sort of parallel things happening is not bad. It rather gives a kind of healthy competition, but more importantly, it kind of gives what should I tell? It kind of gives a scope for innovation. But what we are doing specifically, as I said, we have these 20 platforms. If now any requirement, because these platforms are generic enough to be used by any state at anywhere. And as I told you, like each of my product is single product is being used by 20 to 25 states. So I'm sure now any state government can use. So whenever there is new requirement comes, first of all, we we offer them this product, give them the description, um, uh, uh, give them the what do you call it? Give them the demonstration of this product. Very often they are able to they come to this thing, and that is how adaptation is increasing. But in case they have something which is very unique, we go ahead and do this thing. But first attempt is always to show them the product in that thing. And I personally feel over the last 1 year or so, we have seen a lot of what should I say, a lot of acceptance from state governments in using our national platforms. Because you also have we have to understand, just by if I have developed an X state, it cannot be directly used by Y state unless I really make it generic, customizable, personalizable. Unless I do those things in my platform, then only. So which we have been able to very well do for these 2025 platforms, and therefore their acceptance is very high.
There is another question that you have seen firsthand the last 20 years of implementation of e-governance in the government in India. How will the next 5 years be different from last 20 years?
See, coming 5 years, last 5 years, if you see, we have been essentially doing the automation kind of a thing. Whatever was being done manually, we started doing on paper. We were doing more efficiently. We were affecting more smarter. We were becoming paperless. But next 5 years will give a different kind of an experience in these applications. You will have these technologies of blockchain, of AI coming into it, which is really going to give a lot of a new way of delivering these applications, also a new way of government functioning. It will also build a new kind of a trust between the technology and the individuals. Like supposing yesterday I was having a review, if all these academic certificates of the individuals, could be put into some kind of a blockchain, then every time, and each one of us during our career initial years, how many times we have to make copies of these certificates and submit at every places, even if it's a scan copy, upload. And I'm sure if I look at my data centers, each of the persons at least 10 to 15 copies of the certificates I must be having here and there, because everybody has captured. On the other hand, if I could put on blockchain, I can directly give my link to the blockchain. I do not have to get it attested. I don't need high-speed connection to upload it. And as a government, I don't need those big storage boxes to store it at the same time. So the whole way the applications are being written, I think, need a paradigm shift the way we'll do. It is also going to, you have already seen, technologies where I'm speaking in English, you are speaking in Hindi, and over the wire we are it is getting translated to the other thing. You don't even get to know that I'm speaking in a different language. We've already seen demonstration. These technologies, which we call conversational AI, is going to become mainstay. And this will extremely help, because we still know there are large number of people in India who have this language barrier. So if through technology we can break this language barrier, we will be really able to empower them, not only through government services, but their ability to come mainstream will be increased many-fold through the use of this technology. So I think we are going to see a lot of innovation. Plus, another thing which we will see is our startup ecosystem. We are seeing a lot of innovation coming from this, and government is also trying all efforts to encourage them. I think we'll see all new kind of users of IT which were never seen before.
Great. So with this, we are coming towards the end of this conversation. And before we end it, Neetaji, you have seen our eGov magazine, our eHealth magazine, our digital learning magazine, our banking and finance magazine. We have been like on it for last 17 years and to create awareness about IT. So your views on our work will be really grateful.
No, I have seen eGov magazine, I think from its day one. It's doing a wonderful job, and it is a niche magazine in this segment. And I think the way you have connected eGov professionals, IT professionals working in government space all across India, and I think now you have foreign presence also. It's a wonderful effort, and I must really compliment of thinking of bringing this eGov at that time. It was nascent stage. Is a lot of compliments to you that you could see that potential. Particularly your all these forums and digital forums and workshops are also extremely useful, and it gets everyone an opportunity to learn from others, because eGov is not only a technology game, it's sort of experience on the ground. Implementation experience is very, very important. So these, I think, platforms serve a beautiful purpose of this. I like to compliment and commend entire team under your leadership who's doing a wonderful job.
Thank you so much, and I thank all the audience for joining us here. And you are watching it on Facebook or YouTube. Please like and share this video so that the great work NIC is doing, and like people are talking about corona barriers. I think NIC is one of an important corona warriors in this situation. The overall backbone of IT of the government is being managed and innovated by NIC daily. So hats off to NIC and the NIC team for helping the citizens, helping the government in this critical situation. So with this, thank you, Dr. Neetaji. Thanks for joining us. Namaskar.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.